It is the first week of the regular season, and it is the final time to acquire low value on players before Sunday's games begin. The previous videos we noted to understand if you are a contender or a rebuilder. This understanding will help drive the trade card in the right direction. So these previous videos we noted dynasty specific trades, and even last week we touched on deep stashes from the waivers to potentially utilize in future trades. This video, we will note redraft and dynasty trades. Oftentimes, the recommended redraft trades parallel with dynasty contender buys. So let's kick it in today's concept where we are looking at injury discounts. Let's start off with redraft. I am looking to trade for Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews. Both tight ends have recently had injuries, where Andrews has this undisclosed injury and he should be returning to practice soon, and Kelce, he just hyperextended his knee. We have zero clarity on both, specifically Kelce, as he is undergoing further testing. We saw this last year with Zach Ertz when he had his MRI and he was thought to be in the clear. However, after the swelling went down and further testing, it did reveal that ACL injury. I am okay with taking a risk on Kelce. I am optimistic he's only going to miss a handful amount of weeks as he recovers here with that hyperextension. And in regards to Andrews, if a manager he's worried about that undisclosed injury, I will gladly take that discount before week 1 games are played. Even George Kittle, he has his injury. He's dealing with the groin injury, so I would kick the tires on him too. If you faded that tight end position in that draft, it seems this is a great time to nail down a weekly start and forget type player. Or you could just go ahead and stream week by week if that's what you want to do. Moving on to dynasty trades, if I am a contender, I am trying to acquire Jonathan Taylor. We know there is risk here given his injury and the potential to be out all season. It's just that low value that I am trying to jump on before we see any sort of spike. Taylor, he is one of 2 running backs who averaged 15 plus points per game over the last 2 seasons. He's a proven top tier talent. If he gets that contract or extension, or if he is traded, we will see that rise in value naturally. Here are trades that have happened during Taylor's injury or holdout situation. Jonathan Taylor for Dalton Kincaid, Travis Etienne, Chris Godwin, and Juju Smith-Schuster, and then finally, Jordan Addison and a 2024 second round pick. The only one I would not consider is the Addison and a 2024 second rounder. The other 3 trades, they are contingent on roster construction. If I have depth at the wide receiver position, I am okay with trading away Godwin. It is easier to find that plug and play running back for points, so it makes sense to trade away Etienne. We know Taylor, he's going to miss at least 4 games, and the CBA will require him to play a year to accrue a season played. This means playing at least 6 games. I know I have recently been saying do not buy running backs right now. However, this is a unique situation where you can buy low on a top talent. So on the flip side, if I am a rebuilder, I am also trying to acquire Jonathan Taylor. He is only 24 years old and he's turning 25 in January. Do not let this age cliff for running backs scare you away. A big misconception with this is the fact all running backs are in this sample size, meaning those bad and replaceable running backs, they're factored in. The all-time great running backs, they had no problem playing late into their 20s, and for some, even early 30s. Remember, I'm not necessarily willing to give up that Jordan Addison, a 2024 second rounder for him. I'm a believer in that Addison talent and that role he will have in that Vikings offense. And additionally, that 2024 second is mine. So if I'm on a rebuild, then that's probably going to be an earlier pick. If I have a contender, I would also be targeting Cooper Kupp. I know I mentioned him 2 weeks ago in this video series. However, we have a new variable to work from. He recently re-injured his hamstring, and he also went to that specialist as well. We know he's going to be out week 1 and potentially more. This is a new buy low opportunity to acquire Kupp. Now, there is more risk baked into this, as previously he did not re-injure his hamstring. However, if he takes that 4 to 6 weeks to recover and then maybe additional time to get acclimated to the offense again, you will have his production in time for the playoffs. Now, if you are risk averse, this trade is not for you. There is a potential Kupp may not play this year, especially if the Rams are not winning games. So let's look at some recent trades in a single quarterback league, specifically a 2024 first and 2024 second, and then George Pickens and a 2024 second. Again, this is a single quarterback league, so if you are certain your picks will be late, that first trade is not necessarily as scary as if it was a super flex league. As mentioned, there is a lot of risk baked into acquiring Kupp without knowing the severity of that hamstring injury or when he's going to be back playing. if he does. This entire series leading up to the start of the regular season, we have beat that drum on assets to acquire if you're that contender or a rebuilder. So heading into this season, we need to have a realistic outlook on your team. Now, this is for redraft or dynasty. So in dynasty, if you just did a startup, you may have a little more confidence in your team compared to if you were able to reference the previous year, with that information regarding your team. This video's topic, it wanted to touch base on the idea of buying low on injury discounts before they return to play and see that value rise. This is for redraft and dynasty. There are not many times when a contender and a rebuilder should be looking to acquire a player. A running back of Taylor's pedigree is an opportune time for a rebuilder to kick those tires. A rebuild, it just should not take you 3 years to do. Oftentimes, you just need that 1 year retool, and that is sufficient enough. This is why it is okay to acquire Taylor. Thank you for watching today's video, and if you did enjoy it, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel for more redraft and dynasty related content.